All right, so I'm going to take a quick guess here. My guess is most of the people in this room have had someone from sales calling them and asking them when the product can get there. Anyone? Good sales teams will be relentless at coming after you to get this information. I get it in different forms in the various roles that I've held over the last 20 years. I've been in sales and marketing and sort of on the apex of creating demand and then handing it to sales and then hearing the story of what happens when we can't solve for the demand problem. So the story that we're going to show you today is a little bit about like where the direction of travel is for the market with agents and how we can bring information and process intelligence into the hands of the people who are actually like at the point of use. And we've seen all these different apps show up on our phone over the last several years, trying to make business apps better, cooler, smoother, whatever. Let's be honest, none of them are great. And even the best ones that you need to go and deal with, let's say Salesforce is a critical business tool. The Salesforce mobile app is not great, and getting people to use it is also not a great experience. That's where a lot of what's about to happen in the market, whether it's with Salesforce and Slack or Uber and WhatsApp, it doesn't matter. The pane of glass that we use when we turn on the phone and we start interfacing with these systems is going to be shifting. And it's because we don't need to have such rigid rules for presenting the information anymore. And so what we're going to share a little bit about right now is, well, how does this world work with Slack? And if we think about it, like how are we bringing the agents, using agents to bring and surface information that is somewhere in a business system that would allow a user to make a decision and or consider their options, right? Because part of it is not just about like, hey, there's information. That's great, but what do I do with it? And then like, what's the secondary and tertiary impacts of the decision I'm about to make? So Matt's gonna help me out here. We're gonna pull up a demo here. We're gonna pick up from where we left off. And the role that I'm going to take, though, is in the last session, we ended up sending an approval up to Slack, right? And that's where Matt's going to pick up when we get this Slack on the screen. My role here is I'm an EVP of sales. I'm between meetings. I'm in an Uber, and I get this request. All right, so like I'm in the Uber, right? This message pops up. And it basically is it's a escalation. It's requesting a reprioritization of an order to a customer. And so naturally, we want to know a little bit more about it. So with the escalation came a little description that basically is like, hey, if we, like every salesperson says, like if we sell this, if we get this to the customer on time, they're going to order twice as much next month, right? It'll be something better than that over time, but you've got to justify the request. But look, as the sales manager, I also need to do some diligence on this. Like, well, who's going to miss out? Like, I only have so much inventory to go around. And so what we're going to show a little bit is that Glide Living here, we've got the ask is to, hey, can we put this order and move the order priority into a high priority category here for Glide Living? And then what it's going to do is it's going to show and say, hey, well, wait a minute, we don't have enough inventory to make that in the time that we've promised. So who and how many inventory or how much inventory is going to be impacted on that? And then not only that, it's going to be like how much revenue is impacted. And then as a sales manager, I want to know, well, how much revenue and margin, and all that has to sort of be considered with, well, my biggest customers have got the best discounts and maybe I've got lower margin on them, but they're very valuable customers, where some of these customers where I can sell all the inventory, I might get more margin and potentially even more revenue out of the deal. But it means I have to say no to one of my bigger customers. Like, this is the type of stuff that salespeople and sales executives deal with on a daily basis. And so the first thing you want to know is, well, okay, let's just ask some simple questions about this. Let's say, hey, how much did Glide Living spend with us in the last year? Like, what's the value of that account, right? I don't know that account personally. That's my rep's job. I've heard of them. I know some about it, but I'm not quite sure what to do with it. And so now we can basically ask that question in natural language. I'm in the car. Remember, it's like, okay, I want to learn more about that account. I'm not going to log into Salesforce. That's going to be slow. Glide Living has placed $500,000 of order year to date, right? They are increasing their order over the same period last year. So this looks like a growing account. On-time delivery for the customer is 60%. And that's above our overall account average. So, okay, interesting. So we've set up a baseline for what we know about this account, but I also don't know about the account that we're taking away from. And so we're going to ask the same basic question here, like how much has Eaton ordered over the last over the same time period, and let's get the same amount. Let's get the same information and see. And so, look, anything that's inside of Salesforce, we can surface here. So we are, for the purpose of a demo, we're bringing in some simple information. This is the basic information. We found out that Eaton's placed less than half of what Glide has placed, and they're on a much slower growth path. Our on-time delivery rate to the customer is 50%. This is lower, so I was like, okay, well, and now I have to make a business decision. Am I going to tell them that, sorry, we're going to miss another delivery? We're going to lower we're going to put that at risk even more, or am I going to send the supply to the customer that has the most amount of growth potential? Well, I'm probably going to do that, right? I'm probably going to make that decision, but then what I'm going to do is notify our salespeople, because someone's going to have to make that have that relationship conversation. What are we going to do about it? Is it going to cost us something else? And so what Matt has, once we've decided here what we want to do, and in this case we're going to direct the inventory towards we're going to approve the request. We're going to direct the inventory towards Glide, right? And then what that will do is that we'll approve it through Salesforce. It's going to update the opportunities, and then we're going to be able to directly open a channel here inside of Slack, and we're going to be able to start a conversation with the people that are impacted about that decision. So scale that out a little bit. What are some other questions you might want to ask? I mean, one of the ones that I'm very curious about is, well, if you look at these different accounts, who's paying their bills on time? Right? Do we have someone with an account that is many months behind payment? Like, that could be a lever and also a decision point for how I might want to redirect that inventory. So you can take this and you can stretch it in a lot of different ways. This is a starting point and I think a pretty interesting way to get people engaged with the actual mechanisms of the business that are impacting their daily basis and how they have to go and present the product and the brand to their customers.